like to take a moment now before we get started just to introduce myself to you. I live in the state of Texas. I've lived here pretty much all my life, and this will be my first lecture, introductory lecture. Um, as I'm sure you can tell from the title, my objective here, which will be over the next few weeks, will be to explain the relationship between God, religion, science, and how they're all connected together. Now, within that, I also want to be able to uh, answer life's most difficult questions that people have. A lot of times, these questions are asked to Christians, and there's not quite a clear answer that's given to it. I am both a Christian and I am a scientist. So I love both things. I love many things, but I'd like to make sure that I cover everything from the religious standpoint of Christianity, and if you want to consider intelligent design and science, um, all those aspects, they're tied in together, and I'm going to be covering that over the next few weeks. This is just an introductory lecture. First thing I'd like to do is apologize for the black screen. I actually started this introductory lecture a few weeks ago, and for some reason it just shows a black screen. It doesn't show the video, but the audio is there. So what I'm going to do is just layer this or put this as the introduction before the audio starts. So I want to assure you, by the time that I'm finished with all of my lectures over the next several weeks, that I will answer the most difficult questions people have in life and clarify some things about the church and science. And I'm a mathematician as well. Having math experience definitely helps. It may be difficult to see the connection at first, but I will be explaining that throughout the lectures. And that's going to help a lot. I'll try not to get too deep in anything. I know not everyone is into science so much, but there are some things on the surface that are shown, and then for my science audience, I'd like to be able to show the relationship of the science and how there is there's proof of intelligent design, that the universe was not just randomly created, but it's created by an intelligent being, and that the designer of the universe, I will show why the designer of the universe is a God, and that the God that created the universe is the Christian God. And I'll be going over several of those topics over the next few weeks. So thank you for joining me for this lecture. It's going to go ahead and start here in just a moment. Again, I apologize. It will just be a black screen. I want to make sure going forward that it does show the video correctly. And I'm going to go ahead and get started here in just a moment. But as I mentioned, just wanted to introduce myself, and please stay with me here, and I look forward to being with you for not only today's lecture but other lectures as well. Regardless of where we come from, different backgrounds, different points of views, I think we all can connect with each other through the power of love and of peace, and I want to be a part of that in these lectures. So we'll go ahead and get started now. I'm going to stop the video recording, and we'll go ahead and continue with the audio. So for lecture 1, what I'd like to talk about today is the concept of evolution. Evolution is something seen more as a scientific view, and also talk about creation. And creation is something that's seen as more of a
religious view. And a lot of people see these as two separate things, but they can be combined together all under one thing. And my goal is to help show how they can be combined and answer the most difficult questions that people have in life. So to start out, just in the introductory lecture, what I'd like to do is talk about evolution versus creation. So essentially man being created just instantly versus man evolving from primates. So, and again, overall, I will expand on this, on the details of this, but strictly speaking, there, in the concept of God, it makes no difference whether man evolved from primates or if man was instantly created. The origin is still from God, regardless of whether you believe in evolution or if man was created instantly. That is not the entire answer, that's not a completely sensical question if you're looking at a creator, because the source of it would still be from the creator, regardless of the outcome of it. So what I'd like to do a lot of times is give examples to try to explain myself and clarify. So in this circumstance, again, when we're talking about the difference between man being created instantly versus primates, again, the origin is still from God. So I'd like to give a reference here to clarify that. Now, this may sound completely different than what we're talking about, but I assure you when I finish giving this example that you'll understand what I'm referring to. So let's say we're talking about, let's say bread in a grocery store. Now, in order for bread to be sold, it has to be first made in the factory or from a manufacturer, and then it's sold to the grocery stores. And then a customer buys the bread and goes to the register to purchase it and takes it to their car and goes home to eat it, ultimately. Now, how this is correlating to science and evolution, or science and religion rather, is we're talking about the origin of the bread itself. The origin is from the factory or the manufacturer. So let's consider that we're talking about from the standpoint that God being, or the perspective of God being the factory or manufacturer, and the bread being man that's being created, and or what man is going to represent. Now, when you buy bread, and I'm just saying making bread, it can be any item at all, you either go through register 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many registers there are, and you you purchase the bread. Now, let me give an example of something here. If you check out your bread at register 8 and you go to your car, you take it home with you, and then you check out your bread at register 9, then you take it home, go to your car, and someone asks, what register did you use to get the bread? And someone will ask, well, why does that matter? It doesn't matter. I got the bread regardless of what register I got it, whether it was register 8 or register 9, I still got the bread. So the example I'm using here is the concept of evolution versus creation. Now imagine that evolution is register 8 and creation is, an instant creation is register 9. And you get your bread. Is it going to taste any different regardless of whether it went through register 8 or register 9? Not at all. It's not going to make any difference at all, because the origin of where that bread came from was the manufacturer. And so the manufacturer being the head of where the bread was created, does not have any impact on the outcome of the bread itself. And that's what I mean when I'm saying that it doesn't matter, or it doesn't make a difference, I should say, whether man evolved from primates or whether man was created instantly, because God is ultimately the creator and oversees the process. So it's not so much as the question itself, meaning if you believe that man evolved from primates, that means that there is no God as a result of that, or that you believe that man was instantly created, doesn't mean that there's no chance that man didn't evolve from primates. Ultimately, man was created from God. And in future lectures, we'll get to more details about God. But we are talking about here, again, that the two can be intertwined, because God is the source of both of them. Now, at this point here, if we're considering God as the creator of human beings, again, it won't matter whether man evolved from primates or whether man was created. The Bible specifies that in the book of Genesis that man was created on the sixth day. And again, that man was created on the sixth day. Now, if we go through the Bible, the same sixth day, at the same time, animals were created on the sixth day, but before man. In the order, the sequence of how things were created, animals were created before man, implying the possibility that man came or evolved from primates. So that's a definite possibility that man may have evolved from primates. It doesn't mean that our intelligence is any different or that there's not a God. It simply means that animals were on the earth before man, and it's possible that we evolved from primates, and God created us at a specific point where we became human beings. We became man. So it's the point I'm making here is it doesn't make a difference, because either way, the origin is still from God. Or if God literally just made us as human beings, created us instantly, it's ultimately the same result. Again, like the manufacturer is the one that makes the bread. God is the one that makes the man. Whether it goes to register 8 or register 9, whether it comes to evolution or instant creation, it's the same result, that man was created from God. Now, this was all specified to have taken place in one day, but this appears to be a contradiction, and there appears to be contradictions and confusion in science and religion on the time scale of the events. I'm a mathematician, and in one of my lectures, I'll be clarifying the meaning of time to clarify and explain once and for all the confusion of this matter and why there is a deviation between what science says in this matter and how Christians interpreting this as absolute is wrong and a mistake. There is scientific common ground here, and as a scientist myself, I'll show how they correlate. Science and religion are combined in this point to be both correct arguments, but they don't contradict. Christians, don't be discouraged in this matter. I'll show you how you're right, but there is a deeper meaning behind this that's scientific, and scientists are correct in their concern in this as a contradiction. And that's completely understandable from both points. Again, when I talk about Christians, a lot of times there's hostility when someone tries to challenge contradictions, apparent contradictions in the Bible. It's important to be open to that, because scientists, as a scientist myself, I can understand we like to evaluate evidence. We like to know what patterns are. Well, we have something called carbon dating, where it can show us the age of something, etc. And based on that, there appears to be a contradiction from the creation. So it's important to be open to a scientist's concern about the contradictions in what scientific studies show versus what the Bible says. And so what I'm going to do in one of my lectures is I'm going to clarify how the two correlate and come to the conclusion, and through mathematics and study, that the 7 days and what time is, how that correlates, how they both correlate with each other, they can be combined together, and everything is correct with it. It may be difficult to think about a concept such as that, but I assure you, when we have the lecture, that you'll understand the difference, and that we'll be able to understand why the Bible says 7 days, but science says the Earth is billions of years old. We'll be able to clarify that. So I'm excited as a scientist myself to be able to perhaps to speak to other scientists about this that are wondering, open to why, is there a difference between the creation days of the Bible and our carbon dating. So I'm excited to be able, as a scientist, to express my studies, what I found, and as a mathematician as well, to be able to show the conclusion of these things and how they correlate, the 7 days versus the carbon dating showing billions of years. So please look forward to that, and I'm going to be happy to go over that. Now, evolution, time, order, the 7 days of creation. Again, just re-emphasizing here, they're all connected to each other from a scientific standpoint, and maintain religious faith intertwined with it as well. So we have science and religion. They are still intertwined within that. Now, again, this is just an introductory lecture discussing the meaning and purpose behind my lectures to come. We will discuss many topics in my following lectures that will answer the most difficult questions of life, and how God is real, and how science and religion are connected, and how there is mathematical proof of intelligent design, and that the creator of the universe from the intelligent design, because that is shown through mathematics. You look at the proof through there. The creator of the universe through intelligent design is the Christian God. And I will show and prove why there's enough evidence to express that the creator of the universe is the Christian God. I will show why God of the universe, the God of Jesus Christ, is the God that created the universe. Now, my goal is to help people grow in their faith and help everyone understand the connection between science, religion, and God. Now, throughout this process, I'll be happy to answer, like I said earlier, any questions you may have, and I'll let you know if it's something we'll be covering in one of my lectures. When I'm finished with all my lectures, you'll understand the answers to the most difficult questions in life, and you'll be able to share this knowledge with others. Now, I thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you on my next lecture, where we'll be discussing time and the universe. If you want to subscribe, that's fine. My biggest focus is just maintaining you as my audience. I plan to put a new video out every week for you so that you can listen to it. Again, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again. Again, tande por day. I look forward to seeing you again. That's just Latin for next time. I may have said that a little bit wrong here, but I'm going to try to say that in Latin. That's sort of the root of all languages, of almost all languages, and how God is the root of creation. But just always remember, no matter what anyone says to you, you're always worthy of love. Let no one tell you otherwise. I send a warm heart to you and hope you have a good week. Goodbye for now. Smiles.